folks, welcome back to the channel. Today we're back in an area where we cut down a couple of birch. That was, I think, our first video when we did our kind of return.
And we came back this year, yep.
But we're really not going to focus on the action. Today it's going to be talking more about woodlot management, and of course we'll do a talking trees. So to start off, woodlot management. Of the many books that I've read, many of them suggest that woodlot owners have freedom to decide how and what they're going to do, and one of the options is kind of do nothing. And I kind of accepted that for quite a few years now. But then recently I was rethinking of what happened to our property when somebody did nothing. And I think that whole concept needs to be clarified. And so what I'm hoping today is provide some clarification on that issue.
Well, your interpretation of it anyway.
Exactly. Nobody else's. Anyhow, if we're talking about cutting trees, planting trees, doing things that Mother Nature can do on her own, I believe doing nothing is absolutely fine. There's no problem with that. However, when we came to do this woodlot 14 years or so ago now, well over 50% of the boundary lines were totally missing. Some of it, much of it, was because they had been actually cut over. One line, mainly the south line, was not cut over, but had been basically neglected so that the scarce paint were no longer visible, unless you knew where the line was, and then you could actually
Then you can find them.
then you could actually see some of the old scarring that still remained.
We spent a long time looking for those.
Yes, we did. So protecting and monitoring your boundary lines, I think, is mandatory for responsible woodlot ownership. You don't want people to be cutting across your line and cutting essentially your trees. That's theft. But you need to make sure that your boundary lines are clear and also monitor. And then the other thing is, of course, we had a chunk of road that was totally impassable by even ATCs or any kind of vehicle whatsoever. The crossing of the stream was impossible with a vehicle. And so, again, this is all infrastructure that's critical, to the long-term well-being of managing your forest, if you decide to do that.
Right, if you're just going to let Mother Nature go at it.
The problem is that Mother Nature wasn't responsible for that road being
For
all eroded
creating the problem.
crap.
Right.
Right? ATCs driving through it in wet conditions and rutting it and causing water to come down over a steep slope caused the damage, not Mother Nature. So if you're simply letting Mother Nature manage your woodlot for the things that Mother Nature does, she knocks down trees in various ways. She grows trees and seeds all over the place. That is perfectly fine. Do nothing. When it comes to human-caused problems with your woodlot, I think human management and intervention is necessary to protect that woodlot by monitoring what's going on and protecting that humans are not degrading your woodlot. Anyhow, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So do nothing in a very responsible way.
First, do no harm.
Yes. All right. We can do a little action shooting. G'day folks, welcome to Talking Trees once more, and today the tree of topic is not this birch sapling, it's the mighty white pine. In the background we have one of our larger white pine trees. We basically have white pine in two locations throughout the woodlot, relatively small, a couple of acres, and right here in this area we have three what I would consider, for this woodlot, quite large, very large trees. They're super canopy. There's nothing in the woodlot taller than them. And another one that's struggling to get into that class. But also, because we did a commercial thinning in here 7 years ago, we are getting some of this wonderful young regeneration, and you can see I've already done a few assisting maneuvers to make sure that this guy becomes the dominant tree.
Not fir.
Now there's also just right here a red spruce. Because we have quite a few white pine in here regenerating, I'll let them fight for, or maybe they can grow side by side. As long as trees are free on three sides, that's all you're generally looking for, and two trees growing fairly close together is not a big problem. And of course, we still have lots of fir. They aren't going away, but if you can somehow imagine that the canopy is some of those big, large white pine, then this stuff will never amount to anything. It won't be competitive. It will either be totally dead, or it'll be suppressed and not growing well, and it'll be typical fir crap.
The pine will win.
Yes, the pine will indeed win. And you can see in general, like I'm seeing trees here that this year's leader is
Well,
10
Last year's, I mean.
Oh yes, right. Yeah, we haven't got this year's growth. It's like 10 inches, and this fir is maybe six inches or so. Less than probably 6. So far it looks like the white pine are winning the race here. Some of the birches are over top. As long as the white pine are growing well, I'm not going to interfere with those. I think the white pine is still going to outgrow them, but I don't know that for sure. I love my white pine.
How big would he be?
Well, I was just kind of... So I'm approximately halfway around, I think. So that's a 6-foot half circumference. So 12 foot for the whole circumference, divided by pi, just under 4 feet.
Somewhere
diameter.
around 4, yeah.
Yeah. So, things you should know about white pine. They're not a good tree, to my mind, for close around your house because the mature growth is somewhere in the 120 to 140 plus feet. So they become an absolutely immense danger to your house when they become that size. They are the best tree we have, conifer, on the property for climate change. Hemlock is also good. We have no mature hemlock, so we're struggling in that department. Fairly rapid growing in good conditions. Will live 300 to 400 years. So it's amongst, hemlock will grow, last a little longer. It's amongst the long-lived trees of the Acadian forest. Now I haven't seen evidence so far, but I have come upon situations where porcupines seem to quite love pines of all variety. But so far we haven't had any serious problem with porcupines and our pines. But they could possibly be a problem in the future. They're not highly shade tolerant. They do need moderate sun or shade. They often have difficulty seeding down, so it has always been recommended that if you can, scuff and stir up the surrounding soil so that the seeds will have a better chance of getting through that duff layer and into the ground.
Well, for years we've gone around and gathered up the pine cones and scattered them throughout the woodlot and other areas.
Yep.
Not sure how successful it's been, but
yeah, who knows, right? We do have some pine in a place where you wonder, gee, how did that get there?
Where'd that come from? And maybe it was because of us.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's the story of white pine as I know it.
Now the ones that grow out in fields, what is it that something eats their leaders?
Oh, well, it's not just in the fields. We have in the woodlot the pine weevil. Anything that's under 20 foot tall or 6 meters, the weevil likes to feed on the leader. It doesn't kill the tree. It only feeds on the leader, but of course that then creates problems that the side branches all start to compete for the leader position, and you get these, well, we got one tree, we got some video footage of it earlier over here that had 5 great big limbs, right? Like it's about 4 foot wide at this height, and then those leaders all go, and each one of them is like a good sized tree on its own. It's more that you get these rich, juicy leaders because they're growing where there's lots of sun. And so these guys are all have quite healthy leaders too. So I'm not sure why the weevil hasn't been in here more than it has, but I see.
So far, so good.
Yeah, yeah, we certainly have it in the woodlot. There's lots of seedlings that have been hit. Once you get past 20 feet, they apparently can't climb, fly, however they travel past that point. So it stops. And really, for our point, yes, some of these trees will be disfigured and will be multi-stemmed and not a good crop tree for economic purposes. They're not going to make good lumber or anything out of them. But they'll still be a good seed tree. And that's ultimately what we're still fishing for at this point in time.
And still a good tree for all the critters.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Well, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.
Catch you next time, guys.